What's up, everybody? It's the Inhuman One here, and today we're going to take down a monster so powerful and destructive that its very nature is to conquer worlds, its pleasure to destroy families, and its joy to twist its victims into unnatural heaps of flesh. That's right, today we're going to defeat Stephanie. Okay, now before you jump to conclusions about my sanity, allow me to share a secret with you. Stephanie is not what she seems.
Yes, I'm Stephanie. I am Stephanie.
See? In fact, she is a host for our true enemy and its kind. So before we go into strategies required to slay this beast, we need to discuss what we know. The first question you may be asking is, where are they from? The creature inhabiting Stephanie is one of many extra-dimensional parasites from an unknown world. We know that they have an otherworldly origin and seem to have breached or invaded Earth based on reports and newspaper clippings seen in the film. They are referred to as unknown entities. Although we don't have any more precise information on the homeworld of these creatures, it isn't entirely essential to discovering their weaknesses. Let's explore these monsters in a bit more detail and discuss their powers and abilities. The unknown entities, for lack of a better term, are invisible and incredibly fluid in terms of having a standard size. Although in their resting state they can hide snugly inside their host's brain, their true size can be seen when they utilize their octopus-like appendages or tentacles to lash out at their victims, or when they are physically interacting with their immediate environment. The tentacles seem to have an incredible range of about 50 to 75 feet, equally impressive power, being seen reflecting bullets, and destructive capabilities that can easily dispatch a human threat without exerting hardly any force. In one scene in particular, the unknown entities are shown to grow up to gargantuan sizes, leveling neighborhoods and cities alike, painting the globe in a rain of fire. The unknown entities also have a defense mechanism that acts as a sort of telekinetic pulse that damages everything in its radius even when the host is in an unconscious state. This ability is demonstrated during the failed attempt at a cranial surgery designed to sever the connection between parasite and host. The unknown entities seem to target children and inhabit their central nervous systems, more specifically the pineal glands of their hosts. They seem to have a stronger influence over their subjects during fits of rage or fear and exhibit their violent nature in these moments. I find these behaviors incredibly intriguing because it tells us volumes about the creatures and hints at their weaknesses. It's evident that the unknown entities target children for a number of reasons. First and foremost, children by nature have difficulty controlling their emotions. They are at a stage in development in which factors such as logic and reason are still foreign concepts. When difficult situations present themselves, they often resort to throwing tantrums, a reaction rooted in anger. When the unknown or uncertainty present themselves, children often cower and flee, reactions rooted in fear. These two primal instincts are poorly managed in children and are often expressed much more routinely, allowing the creatures opportunities to take control of their susceptible hosts. Speaking of primal instincts, the brainstem is the section of the brain that controls vital functions such as the regulation of breathing and heart rate, as well as motor functions. It also has a direct path to the pineal gland, which in pseudoscience has been referred to as the third eye. The significance of this reference is the fact that the third eye is often perceived as a window of sorts that allows passage to the supernatural in an elevated state of being. Interestingly enough, the surgery that was part of an alleged treatment for children exhibiting abnormal behavior, aka using telekinetic powers and invisible tentacles to kill stuff in fits of rage, was actually based around boring a hole into the brainstem of the host and attempting to close the quote-unquote window that was allowing the connection between the unknown entity and the children. Another brief item I wanted to mention is the fact that the creatures force their hosts to eat an insanely large amount of sugary foods. Oddly enough, after reviewing some articles on the impact of increased sugar consumption, I found that higher rates of sugar intake was directly related to increased feelings of sadness, anxiety, and stress, all of which can lead to frustration, anger, and irrational fear. Lastly, let's face it, it's much harder to kill a monster that looks like a child than some complete stranger. These bastards really thought this all through, didn't they? Well, maybe not. So enough talk, it's time to take these unknown entities down once and for all. So how do we do it? Quite simply, killing the host by way of euthanasia is the most effective method. News reports clearly indicate that euthanasia was one of the only successful methods to treat this alleged condition. If we are unable to ask the invisible giant, telekinetic tentacle-wielding monster to sit down nicely for a shot, we have several other methods we can employ. Based on our knowledge of how euthanasia works, we know that cardiac arrest and eventual brain death is the goal we're trying to achieve. Simple sleeping agents such as chloroform and general anesthesia are shown to work relatively easily and incapacitate the host. As long as the attacker isn't taking their sweet time and hesitating for dramatic effect, the euthanasia can be administered with ample time to kill the host and sever the connection. More violent methods would include any number of means necessary to sever the brainstem or induce cardiac arrest, which include drug overdose, gunshot wounds, etc. A more pacifistic and non-violent solution would be to create a stress-free environment for the child that reduces the number of tantrums and in turn eliminates any possibility for the unknown entity to take control. If you notice in the film, nearly every inch of Stephanie's household is painted blue or has blue dishes, decorations, etc. The color blue is said to be a very soothing and calming color as opposed to red, orange, or yellow, which invoke more aggressive thoughts or emotions. In the event of a fit of rage or fear, sleep-inducing agents would have to be administered to the child to prevent any potential threats. But is this truly living, or is this simply a poor imitation of life and an exercise in futility? So after all is said and done, the key to defeating these unknown entities is coming to terms that the child before you is no more. The unknown entities have twisted the very notion of love and turned it against you. In Stephanie's world, you are no longer a proud loving parent. You are in the presence of an extra-dimensional parasite that is hell-bent on destruction and world domination. Do you have what it takes to banish this evil? And that's it for this video. I hope you all enjoyed it. If you would like to know how to defeat monsters from any and all media, let me know in the comments below. This is the first of many to come. Now don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment, and until next time, it's the Inhuman One signing out. Welcome to my universe.